It's Wednesday, that's why. The entire purpose of It's Wednesday, that's why is to provide inspiration to other founders out there. When I talk to people, I'm so inspired by what they do. And as a curious person, I'm like, why are people doing stuff? What drives them? So I'm like, you know what? Let's make a thing out of it, and let's get people, and let's interview different people who can share their stories, and so we all can get some inspiration from their wise stories. Our today's speaker is a great, incredible friend. This is one of the most amazing guys I know in this country. He's been for more than 18 years into real estate. He has his own brokerage called Royal Lepage. This guy is recognized amongst the top realtors in Canada, and he's won prestigious awards, including the Red Diamond Directors Award and various awards for being the top producer for both sales and values. He served on various committees at the Toronto Real Estate Board, including the Government Relations Committee, meeting with MPs and MPPs as a stakeholder and lobbyist, as well as sitting on the Toronto Real Estate Board's Arbitration Committee. This guy is one of the most incredible realtors, the most incredible realtor I personally know of. If you haven't seen a house with this person, you haven't seen a house. That's what I like to go. Guys, I would like to call on the stage the one and only Andrew Wells. Thanks, man. Thank you. Please, have a seat.
So I get to do this in the hot seat in front of a
I
live
had to call. I'm like,
audience.
hey, we're doing it live, Andrew. Please just say yes. Let's do this. Thank you so much for being here and agreeing to do this. It's my pleasure.
It's a pleasure, and apparently it's Wednesday, and that's why I'm here.
You know, it's funny because my brother, he had this class at 8 a.m. today morning. And he woke up like in an instant. He's like, and the first thing I said to myself when I woke up, I'm like, it's Wednesday, that's why. So thank you for being here. I want to start by asking the question I ask everyone. Why do you do what you do?
It's a great question. And I take a lot of personal pride and satisfaction in knowing that I get involved in people's lives when there's some degree of change. Usually, sometimes it's really great news, like maybe it's a new family formation, you've got more kids, you need more space. Sometimes there's some kind of other change happening, maybe it's a separation or a divorce, maybe it's an estate sale coming up, or maybe there's some change in the market, people need to either make a divestment or they're making an acquisition. But there's some kind of change, and I get to be there with these very personal journeys in people's lives. And I get to be included in helping them really achieve their goals and get to their ends. And for me, that's a huge motivating factor, and I get a lot of satisfaction. It really keeps me interested, and every single person's story I find is both unique and really engaging. That's a big part of what I love about why I get to do and why I do what I do.
That is incredible, man. How and when did you decide that was your why?
So, again, great question. I've been in the business almost 20 years now. I went through university. I thought I was going to go to law school. Half my family are lawyers. I wrote my LSAT, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not sure I really want to go down that path. Ironically, the other half of my family, they're all realtors. My grandfather he was also a director of the Toronto Real Estate Board. So it seemed to be a natural fit. Most importantly, I really like the personal engagement. I work in residential real estate. So there's the commercial side of the business, there's the residential side. I get to deal with the decision makers. Mm-hmm. I like that, it's a business about people. As much as, yes, we move a lot of properties, I joke that I recycle big boxes and people happen to live in them. And the important thing for me is to make sure that my clients feel that they're getting good value for their service and that they're making informed decisions so they can comfortably move forward knowing that they're doing what they want with the right information to make that decision knowingly.
Man, you're like this incredible person, every time I talk to you, it's always fun, but it's always like, you're going to the gym at 6 a.m., but you're also partying at 2 a.m. in the night. And you're working day, you're working night, you're working throughout the weekends. What keeps that drive going and say I'm going to cross all my limits and I'm going to achieve and I'm going to what drives you every single day?
I would say I have FOMO. I have fear of missing out. And I want to make sure that when there's an opportunity, I need to be there to action on it. That really is a hallmark of our industry. We need to be able to move the pace of business. Much like I've a bunch of friends and clients who are physicians. When the patient calls, you need to be available and you need to be able to jump right in and take care of it. I had a client call me this afternoon saying, hey, a property popped up on the Danforth. They're asking $350,000 on it. Can we get in there? So I said, well, let's look into it. There were 33 offers on it this afternoon.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? We don't want to
Wow.
get in that lineup. This property was very low priced. It's a teaser. That's not the actual market value. Let's hold off, actually do our due diligence. We're going to find you a better price. He's like, okay, I appreciate it. For me, it was a 10-minute sort of journey to get through that call, but it satisfied my client, made sure he understood what was happening, and he felt he didn't miss out on an opportunity. And if he decided he wanted to move forward, we would have, even though I still think there's better opportunities out there for him. So that's part of it, is that in our business, it really doesn't stop. We're a 24-hour-a-day operation because you have to be, because sometimes a good opportunity comes and goes very quickly.
It for sure does. Talking more about the industry, I think there's about 80,000 realtors in GTA. Is that number correct?
At the moment, yes.
80,000. Well, that's a lot. With so much competition out there, what is really a differentiating factors that differentiates you from other people? And what's that thing that can help people decide which realtor should they work with?
It's a very good question. There's a perception that in our business that we're all one and the same, and we're very much not. By the metrics, about 20% of agents, we do about 80% of the volume. 50% of agents do 0 deals a year, and the average agent does 3. Whereas by volume, for the top agents, we tend to do the majority of the action out there. We have our finger both on the pace of the market. We know what's coming up. We're paying attention to the legislation, to things that are happening in policy initiatives. Macroeconomic factors that come right down to a street level. We have to be very much finger on the pulse of the market, because often the market can shift very quickly, and if you're not up to speed with what's happening, you can make a major mistake. And a mistake in real estate can be extremely expensive. There's a saying, if you want to try to do...
What's an expensive mistake in real estate?
It would be such as making a purchase without having your financing in place, or not doing due diligence, such as doing a home inspection and finding out there's a major fault within a property. I had a client, we were looking at buying a new built home. It's about $3.5 million. We did a home inspection, even though the market conditions were tight. I said, no, we have to get it done. So we pressed, we got the home inspection in place, and we found out that this home, if we'd moved into it and my client had turned on the fireplace, it would have burned the home down.
Wow.
So that was a major. So we decided to back out of that deal. We bought another product because there were too many flaws found in it.
Yeah.
And even though my client very much liked the surface appearance of it, when we did digger deeping into it, we found that there were major faults, and we got my client safely out of the way without any cost or harm. If somebody bought that home and those problems hadn't been identified, it could have been not only extremely expensive to fix, it literally could have been dangerous to life and limb.
Well, that's wow. Like, I literally have no words, because there's so many things when people are buying, they don't understand about houses. And like when you showed me a house and you were like, okay, this is, I was just amazed to know the details you were checking a house from. Like, do you guys know there's like on every window there's a marker which tells you the year those windows were installed? Like, that information when he shared with me it blew my mind. He's like, oh, these windows were installed 25 years ago. They're gonna be asking a replacement in the next 3 years. I'm like, how did you know that? So that's incredible. What is one tip you would like to share with the audience today here live, and also with the viewers who are watching it online, and that can help them grow their business?
I think there's an old saying, you can only expect what you inspect, and that goes both for the properties you're looking at as well as your agents. They should be able to furnish you with current market data. You should be able to question them, feel that you're being supported. If you feel that there's an issue, they should be able to give you answers on it. You should also feel that you're the one in the driver's seat. You shouldn't feel that this person's pushing you into a sale that you don't feel comfortable with. Make sure that they're putting your interests first. We have what's called a fiduciary duty, which means that we have an obligation to make sure that the client's needs are being met, that we share all what are called material facts. Any information that might influence your decision to move forward or not must be shared with you.
Yeah.
If you feel that you're getting anything less than that, then you should back up and you should find another service provider.
Wow. That's amazing. Like you're one of the most incredible networkers I've ever come across in my life. There's other two. There's like Pat here and that. And if you guys want to learn about networking, like if it wasn't for these three people, I wouldn't survive networking in this country at all. Like I looked up to these people. I'm like, how the hell can they talk to someone they've met 2 minutes ago and talk to them that they've known them for years? So you're like one hell of a networker. What's a tip you would want to share in this event today that can help people network better?
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Ask questions. Be inquisitive. Listen. If you ask somebody a question, give them time. And then if you're not clear on what they said, ask them to say it again. And you don't take things for granted. You may find that you're surprised by what you don't know.
Yeah.
And your strength. There's a saying. Your net worth is basically your network. And I'm a firm believer in terms of getting to know a big network of people. Toronto is a very dynamic, cosmopolitan place. I think it's a very welcoming city. And most people are here. They came from somewhere else. And I think there's a lot of strength in our diversity.
Yeah.
And it's a benefit that we've got. Get out there, meet new people, because it's only going to enrich your life. And it'll also, frankly, enrich your business the more people that you know, because they'll help support you in kind.
Can you share one of your best networking stories?
Oh, God. There's a million of them. One of the things I've always found very interesting is how networks, they're snowballing relationships. Through just the course of my business, I've had opportunities to meet some really interesting people, everything from artists and musicians to bankers to people who just make a difference at a ground level, teachers who literally step into schools and make a huge difference in the kids' lives. And that kind of broad diversity, it gives you a healthy respect for the fact that we live in a really good place at a good time, and we live in a world of abundance. And I think that just being exposed to different people from different places, I think it's going to enrich your life, and I think it's something we can all benefit from.
That's amazing, man. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience today?
If you haven't already bought a home, you should think about it.
And you know who to go to. Thank you so much for being here, Andrew. It was really amazing listening to you. It always is. How did you guys like what he just said? Yeah? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And it's been a great event. I'd recommend this to everybody.
Thank you so much. That's really makes my day coming from you. Thank you everyone for watching here, for being with us. Be limitless today, and please follow us if you haven't already. My goal is to bring each founder every single week and ask them why they do what they do, gain some inspiration, gain some insights. I would love, if you haven't been already on my podcast, I would love to get everyone in this room and interview them and pick their brains and learn about what they do, why they do, what drives them, and how can they help me inspire more people every single day so that more people can think like us, can act like us, and create a life they truly, really want to live. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great time. Thanks, man.